Okay, so getting right into it, I have one thing I have to say right out of the gate is out of everything going on in this chapter, of all the all the character interactions, all the everything that all the characters are doing, I have to say that Pero Spero made the biggest mistake in the chapter. And and the thing is, like the mistake Pedro Spero made, it wasn't anything like you could say is big or grand, anything or life changing or anything, but it was a mistake nonetheless. And it was a very simple one, which is he turned his back to Carrot. And again, it sounds like a very simple mistake, but when you pretty much consider as to how Oda has structured his story, and specifically how he structured the sort of rules of combat when it comes to this world he's created, it's one of those things where pretty much what Pedro Espero did in this chapter is he pretty much he pretty much like he pretty much broke one of the golden rules of combat in this world, which is never turn your back to your enemy. The only time you can do that is if you know for sure they're either dead or completely defeated. Ergo, you've knocked them out or crushed their will to fight. And since it appears that Perospero didn't really do either of those things, he's just basically opened himself to a surprise ass whooping from Carrot when he least expects it. Like I don't think I'm underestimating it when I say that pretty much Carrot, just from the obvious little flashback of hearing like Pedro's words in her head, you can tell that despite being defeated, Carrot still has a little bit of will to fight left, and as long as Carrot is able to hold on to that little bit of will, yeah, Pedro Spero is gonna get the ass whooping of a lifetime. Like the decision of turning of not killing Carrot is gonna come back to haunt him majorly, and I think that's pretty much what Oda is, and I think that more or less seems to be as to what Oda is setting up here. Like just through Perospero just walking away and just moving on to to pretty much to pretty much Marco. That seems to be the thing that he's setting up. That because she's pretty because Perospero is like pretty much completely abandoned any notion of fighting Carrot. It's gonna come back to bite him in the ass. I know that much for sure. Um, although I will also say at the same time how like the dialogue in this chapter, like Perospero's dialogue, like what he says to Carrot and whatnot, it is still kind of a nice reminder as to that of to us as the reader that for as strong as the Sulong form is, its biggest flaw is also the source of its strength, and how even the slightest obstruction to the moon can weaken the Mink's fighting capabilities in Sulong form. So yeah, it's a nice reminder in that sense too. Um, Now, obviously, I know two of the biggest hype moments in this chapter were the Prince Marco and were the Prince Marco and were the Marco and were the Marco and and Prince Hyogoro fight, Hyogoro moments, and trust me, we'll get into those in a bit. But right now, I just want to take a moment in and show a little love for Chopper right now, because if anything, he's been. I feel that Chopper right now has been a bit of a silent MVP in the back half of this arc than the of silent MVP. Just for how how despite the fact that his infection is getting progressively worse, he's like Chopper is still powering on through because he just know like Chopper knows as a doctor instinctively that right now he is the only one. He is the only chance and the only person capable of actually helping everyone from pretty much recovering from this like get from this poisonous gas that's been spread all across the battlefield. Like it's no super it's no it's not a stretch to say that everyone's lives do kind of depend on Chopper, and Chopper's actions right now are very reflective of that. He's he's basically he's powering on through, and what he's also doing is what's being showcased to us right now is just how much Chopper truly has learned as a doctor in the past 2 years. He's been studying on Birdie Kingdom. Like, he's putting his full knowledge of what he's learned the past 2 years to absolute work in these past couple chapters, and I absolutely love it for that. And and honestly, as far as whether or not Chopper's going to survive this or not, I can see it being coming down to the see it being a sort of coming down to the wire situation where he finishes it just as the infection starts to take full effect, or a split second before, at least in terms of him. Like, he's probably going to be almost like he's probably going to be pretty much near to almost like fully infected by the time he's done. Um, of course, on top of that, we also get to see good old Sanji about to go help out Momonosuke. And while I don't mind this detour, I hope it still nearly like climaxes to a confrontation with Jack, because again, it's not something I necessarily hate, but it feels like Oda has taken Sanji on more than a couple little detours right now, and I'm kind of just wanting him to just fight Jack right now. That's kind of where my focus is right now. Like, it it just it just feels like that's where the focus of Sanji should be right now. Um, but yeah. Anyway, let's talk about Hyogoro because. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about Hyogoro and what's essentially his last stand in this chapter. Because in context, there's really not a whole there's really not a whole lot of him like fighting or anything, but more just him doing a bit of personal reflection, looking back on his life, his decisions he's made, and just sort of accepting of whatever his fate will be in the end. If in this case, his he's accepted his death, and come what may. And the thing that I absolutely love about how the final moments of Hyogoro are handled in this particular chapter is that we often talk about moments like this both in life and in media, but there's always that small element of disbelief that people in real life and characters in media only pretty much say that in order to make death itself feel more welcoming. But here in this chapter and in this moment with Yugoro, you genuinely feel like this is a man who's lived his life in full and pretty much ready to embrace death, knowing not only that he had rectified his personal mistake of 20 years of not helping Odin when he probably should have, but but also that he's in a lot of ways, even though Momonosuke and the others have carried the torch for Odin in this moment and in this raid. I think you could say that I think you can honestly say that Hyogoro himself has carried the torch just pretty much as much as has carried the torch for Odin just as much as anyone else has. And now in the present, like he pretty much feels he can die happy knowing that Wano's future is secure in the hands of the samurai and of the samurai and of the samurai and the pretty much and the pretty much yeah and the pretty much and the pretty much yeah the pretty much yeah Kuza, who have made all this possible. Now Now, I will give the caveat that for as hopeful and uplifting as all this is, it is once again feels like another indicator and Oda's way of saying he's about to pull the rug under all this. So, and this whole fight will inevitably end up similarly like how it did 20 years ago. Like, I feel that's kind of what Oda's doing with us right now. Like, he's giving us hope, but he's. I think I do agree with a lot of AniTubers that this isn't gonna end the way we would like it to. Uh, but so yeah, obviously I've been putting it off, but let's talk about Marco. And honestly, there's really not all that much to say. However, the interesting thing in this chapter, honestly, is you almost get the sense that it's either going he's either gotten stronger over the past 2 years, or the entire time we've known Marco up to this point, and especially during the Paramount War, he's almost been holding back when you look at this chapter. Like he's been like because in this chapter he's using techniques that feel completely unrestrained and just he and Marco himself just feels like he's just going all out. But considering Perospero's stupid ass is watching, that's probably also because Marco knows that in order to truly fight against Kaido's top men, you can't afford to hold back. But just the fact that he took King and Queen out is obviously the more impressive thing. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and on Crunchyroll. Dead Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.